Ms. Saunders and Ms. Latif. Having started a media company, we have a lot of students here who are aspiring entrepreneurs who want to start their own companies, but they don't feel like they have the resources. So what do you do as a college student if you want to start your own company, but you may not have intern, you may not have connections in New York or California? Like, what do you do to take that first step to establishing a company and a brand?
Okay, I can start with that. I was speaking to some of the industry power players before we began, and I was speaking to them about this very same question. I think that it's very important wherever you move, whether it's New York, whether it's LA, that you find some organizations that have the same ties with the brand that you want to create for yourself. I thought that it was really ironic that Felicia was going to be on the panel tonight because I actually found Ween when I first moved to New York, and I got heavily involved with that organization. I joined their planning committee. Anytime that they needed someone to go out and to host, to be on camera, I was that girl. I think that it's so many people out here that know exactly what they want to do but won't speak up about it. I think it's very important that when you know what you want to do, that you're confident enough in yourself to tell the next person and to get involved with organizations so that people know that you exist, because that's the first step. With me telling them that I wanted to be in television, that I wanted to do hosting, and I wanted to do modeling, whenever there was an opportunity for that, someone was sending me an email, someone was giving me the opportunity to step up and get to the plate. So like my young ladies down here said, it's about who you know, but it's also about what you know. It's about equipping yourself right now while you're in, at Howard, to be ready for when you get that opportunity, so that you're prepared to go about doing what you need to do to advance to that next level and to enhance your brand. So I would say the first step is to definitely find an organization in whatever area that you move to, and to get as involved as possible. That's coming early, that's staying late, that's volunteering your time. There are so many organizations out here, there are so many companies out here where people will work for free. So you need to know that you're not going to be paid right away. You need to know that you have to have some money stacked up. So while you're here, if you can afford to have a job while you're doing your studies, I would definitely say start saving and be ready to work for free and work long and hard hours, and just be ready to put yourself out there.
Yeah, the only other things that I want to add, a couple points. Definitely going back to what Tisa said about the network. If you're going to start a business, if you're going to start a venture, whether it's a nonprofit, whatever your passion is, it's definitely about the who you knows and the who's going to help you do it. Because you can send out a billion proposals, a billion business plans. Hey guys, this is my new thing I'm doing, and everybody will be like, "Oh, cricket, I didn't see it. I think it went to spam, whatever." But it's those people who believed in you, those people who met you as an authentic person, going back to what Crystal said, the people who, saw through all of the other people in the room who ran up, "Can I get your business card?" at the end of the meeting, and said, that person had something. There was spark there. They seemed genuine. They seemed driven. They seem like they really know what they want to do. And so then through that follow-up and staying on that person, and even if it's a season's greeting card you send them, just something to kind of stay on their mind, on in their Rolodex, on their radar, that will help you when you're ready to start whatever you want to do. Even if it's you want to go to grad school and you need $10,000 and you need $1,000 from each person. You know what I mean? Any little thing, that any venture you have goes back to your network. The only other piece I want to add is just not to get tied into the idea that you have to be a certain place to be who you want to be. Meaning, oh, I got to move to New York. Oh, I got to be in LA. Oh, I need to be in Atlanta because I can't do this here in DC while I'm in college, while I'm in school, or I'm from the Midwest, can't do it in Champaign, Illinois. You know what I mean? The world is global now. Everybody's online. Everything's digital. So if you have a plan and you have your focus, do your bullet points, write your checklist out. This is what I want to do, and this is how I can go about it. Start your Facebook, get your Twitter, get your network going, get your following, pull in those people you met at that panel last month. That's really the way you can move forward and start it no matter where you are. And then you can go to cities and entertain meetings, and then fly back to your base. But you still I don't want you to think, oh, I'm closed-minded, I'm focused in my one little area, and I can't reach out and build this huge network and this huge brand. Because going back just to talk specifically about Avenue Pink, we all, met through different ways, and we were like, what are we gonna do? Okay, we have this plan. We want to uplift women. We also want to, promote our careers and have a radio show and do cover red carpets and philanthropic events. How are we going to do this? And, you know, through our networks, through me at the time, I was fully staffed at BET. I was like, hey, I think we can get a camera from here.
Right.
And Chaz was like, okay, well, I think I can get out of work and be there at this time. You know what I mean? So just really trying to make it happen, having a full passion and being driven, being up at stupid o'clock in the morning, like, girl, can you look over this proposal and send it back to me? Okay. And then I'm going to change this, and then I'll send it out to this. And, oh, I have that one friend that works at so-and-so that can kind of help us do this thing. So just, you know, just really be firm about what you want to do, be committed, and dream big.
Thank you. The next question is from Ms. Love. As a very mature
Thank you.
African American woman, can you discuss some of the challenges that you faced throughout your career in getting where you are today in terms of challenges that you may have faced with another race and also with, you know, African
You want me to
American
tell
men?
it? I'm a power to the people kind of sister, still to this day. You know, and again, I am just absolutely so proud of these sisters because being a gatekeeper and passing the baton is always good to hear that. And it makes me, you don't realize how proud I am because from one woman to see my younger sisters doing what we want them to do, you know, and there are a lot of us that are older sisters that are out there being supportive. It's interesting, you know, I didn't even, you know, y'all shouted out where y'all went to school. I'm gonna do the same thing. I went to North Carolina Central University, and I went, ain't no, not no ordinary yard bird. And then I went to the University of the District of Columbia, and I'm gonna go to school again because I love school. My degree is not in communications, per se. My degree is in health education, public health administration. I'm very good at what I do in reference to talking about health. But an opportunity came up, and the opportunity came to me, and I don't know if some of you remember this gentleman, but when Teen Summit first started on BET, it was with Dejour. Well, that wasn't, Dejour was the third host, but Dejour was the person that brought me to CBS Radio. When we came there, and he brought me, I sat in the room, you know, I'm a teacher, I'm an educator. So he brought me in the room and he said, well, Jess, I know you can do this. I'm like, boy, I don't know nothing about the radio, except for how to turn the dial. And we went on the air one night, went to 5 nights a week. One night. That's unusual, okay? But I was talking about sex, okay? But I was talking about sex in a very clinical way, but it was a way that related to our listening audience. So who would ever have thought? And I did that for 13 and a half years. I was on the air every night. You know, when I think about some of the challenges that I had, you know, I got to, people would say to me, they didn't know what I looked like. So they all thought, and this was so interesting. I have a raspy voice, but they thought I was heavy set, had dreads, and I was dark skinned. I said, now how do you get that over the air? You know, it's the theater of the mind. You know, so nobody knew what, so when they would see me, they were like, oh my God, this little tiny woman is raising all hell. You know, then you go through a power struggle with men. I will not back down. You know, I don't need to back down. I paid my dues. I honor and respect you, and I expect you to give me the same kind of respect. If they don't, it's all right. Someone was telling me the other day that just, you know, you're a little hard on people. I said, you know what? Somebody was hard on me.
And the next question is for Ms. Silver. Now, hopefully, we're at Howard for 4 years, 4.5, 5 people on the 5-6 year plan, you know what I mean? There's a time limit, hopefully, that you're in college and undergrad. And a lot of students are here maybe for 5 or 6 years because they're undecided in terms of their major. And a lot of students say, hey, I want to get into entertainment, but they're not sure what to do. So a lot of students are wasting their time. So in your opinion, what can students begin to do to create a path for themselves? What tools would you advise are best for money and time management?
For money and time management, the best tip that I could give you for both of those is to learn how to invest wisely. Because with money, we are so wasteful as a people. I mean, if you look at how much money we spend on trying to prove that we have money, I mean, it just seems backwards. Like, who are you trying to impress? Who do you need to prove it to? The only person that needs to know what's in your bank account is you, because your name is on it. So what I would say is stop looking at trying to live for other people, for their approval, for their opinion, whatever it may be. Take a step back and think about what means the most to you. What are your values? And when you have a clear understanding of what your values are, then you can invest both your time and your money into whatever it is that gives you a life that's abundant in those values. For me, I realized that networking is something that I need to invest a lot of time and money into doing, because when you have a book, I don't know how many of you all want to be in entertainment involving anything that has to be published, but if you're trying to get rich, I can assure you this is not the way to go. Because in terms of royalties, you know, you're lucky if you walk away with 20% or whatever the sales price is for a book. For me, that's about $2 and some change. So I had to do a whole lot of hustling to get people to buy books, and even when they do buy books, I get $2. So that's not, you know, you just
Tell
really
them
have
that
to
again, so they understand how much a book costs and how much money you actually get.
I will break that down for you right here. This is just like it is in the music industry. You might see a sticker price on a CD, it might be $12.95. Whoever the artist is might walk away with 50 cents, if that. Now, if they do their own writing, they might want to get some producing credits on a track, then maybe they can increase that amount, but they're looking at a very small profit on that price that you see. So as a consumer, you look and say, oh, well, $12.95 a book, you know, she's getting $12.95. Absolutely not, because someone has to pay for that paper, for that cover, for that distribution, and then after all of that is said and done, I get what's left over. And another thing about publishing, when it comes to books, the sticker price might be one thing, but when a bookseller buys your book, they can strike a deal with a publisher to pay less than the sticker price for the book. So if they strike a deal to get my book at $8, I still get 20%, but now that's $1 and some change instead of $2 and some change. So don't focus on money. What's important to me is teaching people how to manage assets. And instead of focusing on the money so much, look at your time first. Because when you put your time into productive things, the money will follow. That's what's important to me, not necessarily being rich myself.